What was playing tonight?
The Dodos. Made some really good songs. I especially like the one, "Here the water freezes faster." Do you know it?
No.
You missed out on that one. Do you come here often?
On rare occasions.
You go to Mount A?
Yes. Used to now. Honors in math. Just finished my thesis. All done.
What was your thesis about?
The numbers and the world.
Sounds interesting.
You know, everything, however complicated, can be explained by the patterns it is made of. And, well, mathematics is just the study of patterns. I mean, think about it, you know. People think about quantities all the time. Numbers. And thinking is always abstract and qualitative. The numbers are, to say, a bridge between thinking and reality. And quantitative relations can explain other strange things happening on a qualitative level, such as spirituality. Like, take the year 2000, for instance. The end of the world might just come because this number is followed by 3 zeros. You know, these things have a great effect on people psychologically. 2 is the basis for all reasoning. Either something is or is not. 3, the Trinities, explains everything else. Either something is or is not, or is nonsense. But you know, the great irony is that 2000 AD isn't even the end of the millennium. You know? And the world is doing a great injustice celebrating the end of the millennium in the year 2000, January the 1st, instead of January the 1st, 2001. I mean, think about it. From the year 1 AD to the year 2000 AD, there are exactly 1,999 years. No more. You know, do a little bit of math. You know, this year is special too. A 1 followed
That
by, I
sounds
think,
fit for
3.
lunatics. What's your name?
Bob.
I'm Doug. Look, Bob.
What would be something fit for non-lunatics? Normal people, according to yourself?
Sorry, I did not mean to offend. There's no such thing as a normal person. There are only 4 kinds of people in this world: cretins, fools, morons, and lunatics. Normal only qualifies one of these types within its category. For instance, this is a normal lunatic, that is an abnormal moron.
That covers everybody.
Certainly does. Or at least me.
Well, what about geniuses? Einstein, for example.
A genius uses one of these components in a dazzling way, fueling it with the others. I would say, for example, that Einstein was a lunatic of moronic brilliance. On the other hand, someone like Salvador Bucci, who tried to prove that God exists mathematically, was a moron of lunatic dimensions. You know Bucci's argument on the existence of God?
Oh, yeah. He used an infinite arithmetic series. 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 and infinitely many zeros. Then he took this equation and made it out to be 1 minus 1 plus 1 minus 1 plus 1 minus 1 plus 1 minus 1, infinitely so. Then he factored this one into 1 plus negative 1 plus 1 plus negative 1 plus 1 plus negative 1 plus 1, and infinitely so. So, from this sum of zeros, I mean, if you cancel out the brackets, right, you just get 0. So he said that from nothing, you could get something, 1. And thus, Bucci says, the one God, you know.
You see? If you can use your excessive amount of Morinism to fuel your lunatic tendencies, or the other way around, people will start to see you as a genius. And you gain the respect and admiration of the masses by crossing the boundaries, being at the edge of one of these types and leaning towards the others.
Okay. What about these other types, the cretins and the fools? I mean, how can any combination of these two characteristics provoke any kind of respect and admiration from the masses?
It depends. Any kind of quality, human quality, certainly provokes some sort of reaction. I mean, cretins are of no interest to talk about. They're pretty worthless creatures living worthless lives. And they can't even talk. They just sort of slobber and stumble. You know the guy who presses the ice cream cone against his forehead, or the guy that always walks in the revolving door the wrong way? I mean, let's just forget about cretins. Now, on to fools.
Ah, but fool is simply the Italian word for cretin. It's the same thing.
Oh, so you know Italian. Yes, cretin is derived from that language, where it does not mean the same thing as fool. I mean, in Italian you say cretino to someone in the lowest level of mental capacity or the highest level of stupidity, whichever way you want. Then you call imbecille someone in the next level, a bit smarter than a cretino. I don't know what kind of Italian dictionary you're using, but the Italian translation of fool is imbecille, not cretino. I will now define in plain English a fool so that you know the difference.
Well, hold on. What makes a fool then? Somebody who uses the ice cream in a different way, or comes in through the window instead of the revolving door?
Good try, but my friend, you are far from having any sensible idea of what it means to be a fool. It's more complicated than ice cream. I mean, being a fool is not that simple.
Hello. How are you?
Good. And you?
Good. How are things?
Good. And you?
Good. What are you up to?
Nothing.
What a coincidence. Me too.
What?
I'm also up to nothing. Something we have in common at this moment. Nothing. Nothing to drink?
Nothing. I'm broke. Actually, is water alright? Water's free, yeah?
Water is free.
Look, Chris. I was wondering. You spotted got some cash?
Yeah. No problem. Hey, $5 okay?
$5 is okay. Yeah, have a beer as well. I'll pay back later.
No problem. So you waiting for a date?
Maybe. I don't know.
Come on, who is she?
Yeah. See for yourself. Yeah, if she shows up, man.
Dave, hear this. I wrote a poem just the other day. It's called Love. Here goes. A loves B. B loves C. C loves A. B is me.
Is that all?
Yeah, what do you think?
Sounds like a first year chemistry class if you ask me.
But isn't that what love's all about? Chemistry.
I don't know. I don't know, dude. That poem doesn't really cut it. I mean, poems are supposed to start with birds and flowers and end with things burning. Yeah?
But it says something to you, doesn't it? I mean, it's the story of my life. Always falling in love with the wrong person.
Well, maybe you got a point here, dude. But I got a point too. Thanks for the $5.
It's a form of social behavior. Fools have the talent of putting their foot in their mouth, and when they do so, they are magnificent. I mean, they're amusing to watch. They might even make you laugh. Actually, they make a lot of people laugh. Most jokes are about fools. Take the movie Dumb and Dumber, or Something About Mary, which is playing at the Vogue right now. And they're examples of this. Fools are the vastest majority of the human population. Think about it.
It's been now 20 years and in one hand holding the other broken, continue to grow and sometimes just
I was thinking,
What?
well, you know. Nothing. Much work these days? Huh?
Yeah, I have some.
Me too. Me too. Beer, you know. Brewed right here in the Maritimes. Yeah. Hey, Chris, can I have another, huh? Yeah, take a look at Chris. Yeah, he sure knows how to open them.
I think I should go.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, see ya, eh?
let's get real.
I guess you're right on that one.
I mean, there are plenty, and yet, fools are also in great demand, especially in social occasions. And they're the true social animals. They embarrass everyone by saying a foolish thing at the wrong time and place. I mean, fools do not insist that cats bark, but they talk about cats when everyone else is talking about dogs. I mean, they do not focus on anything, never get straight to the point. They just talk, making little sense. That is better than cretins who cannot even make complete sentences. So, in relative terms, fools deserve some respect.
Hold on. Respect. So respect has lost all value today because those who deserve it are fools?
Yes, I even admire them. I mean, cretins, you see, their brain randomly farts out words that do not make sentences. Fools, on the other hand, randomly dump out sentences. And they're the guinea pigs of society. From them, we learn as we grow up on how to screw them up, a skill that determines our very success in life. Success is merely a word describing the action of being above the foolish masses.
And cretins?
Sure.
So common people are either cretins or fools.
Fools for the most part.
And to succeed, we have to know how to manipulate them.
Exactly. That is what they teach you in school. I mean, if you have missed that, you've missed the most important lesson. You will always be socially handicapped if you fail to realize that. Fools mirror society. By looking at them, we are able to look at ourselves. In the past, kings and princes had fools in their employ as a type of luxury. Do you know about Quasimodo of Paris?
Oh yeah. Quasimodo. Yeah, he was, born normal, I guess, but then they put him in this cauldron where he grew up deformed so that he was to become this deformed, ugly-looking, foolish, demented creature that eventually got him famous, selling him off as a fool or something. What a devilish thing to do.
In those days, people had a different idea about education. Being a fool was a respectable profession then. mean, there were even schools designed to train fools like Quasimodo after they'd been physically deformed, of course. Today, there are many natural-born fools, genuine ones who are not forced by some external destiny, only their own. You can meet lots of them hanging out in places like this, where they provide their services without getting anything in return, voluntarily. And you can not imagine how much fun I have talking to one. See that guy over there?
Yes?
Now that is a special kind of fool, a love fool. Look at the way he's sipping his drink and staring at a fixed point in space. Being in a kind of love fool condition does not help very much in winning someone's heart. On the other hand, only fools can fall in love. It's a vicious cycle. I feel sorry for some fools, especially for that one. I know the girl he's in love with.
Really? How?
I was talking to him. It's just two misfortunes one can have in this life. One being poor, the other being unattractive.
And stupid.
That's just included in the unattractive. Unattractive people are those who possess one or more qualities, such as stupid, ugly, culturally unfit, sexually retarded. All people are stupid, just some people don't realize it, which makes them even more stupid. Thus you have varying degrees of stupid people. Based on that, there are only 4 kinds of stupid people in this world. Can I get a Coke? Anyway, I respect those who have been defeated by their feelings. It's happened to me many times. Everyone has that chemistry overriding everything in the brain to get to the point of putting your foot in your mouth at the very moment when you're about to say the single most important thing in your life.
Nah, people fall in love because they have to fall in love, not because they're fools.
I did not say that. We all need someone. The ways we look for that are often different. The majority of us follow some carefully planned, well-established paths towards that goal. And that's why so many flock into the campus pub every weekend. There it makes sense to fight back the chemistry and get drunk. You know, the average woman would be better off to have looks than brains because the average foolish man can see better than he can think. It's even better to have both, of course. Most drunk pubbers, cannot even see, less think. Which makes it easier for the poor creatures to deal with their excessive horniness.
Who are asked to pick the number just off the top of their heads, 88% chose the number 3. So fascinating.
We need to talk.
I'm tired. We've been talking already.
No, you've been talking, and about numbers, as usual. I'm starting to worry about you. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes.
I just need to explain this one thing to you.
Okay.
I am... Okay, it's simple arithmetic, really. You are 1, and I'm 1, and together we're 2. And you have 1 penis, and I have 1 vagina, and 1 belly, and inside is 1 uterus, where 1 fetus grows. And we have 1 head and 1 heart. And together we have 2 heads and 2 hearts. Hence we get the number 2, right? And lots of things come in twos. 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 feet, 2 hands. your balls, my tits, and so on. Then from the number 2, we get 3, what you call the Trinity. Nothing in our bodies comes in 3s. So a lot of cultures have given this number mystical meaning. You think 3 is magical because of the number of letters there are in the word God. Heaven, hell, purgatory, you know. But if you think about it, the explanation of 3 being such a magical number is so simple. 1 and 1 makes 2, and 2 people bring another 1 into this world, hence we get 3. Me, you, and the baby. And if you think about all of the orifices in your body, your mouth, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, your asshole, you get the number 6. 2 times 3, the product of these magic numbers. But I have 7. And with that 7th, I bring you into this world. Therefore 7 is even holier than 6. And one more thing. I'm pregnant.
Anyway, I think I'm losing my train of thought. But I do not want to throw any stereotypes on the Sackvillian centers of culture. I'm not saying that all people who go there have the sole goal of carnal satisfaction either. I mean, people, no matter what personality or intellectual value, certainly need to fall in love. Being a fool is something separate from this. Do not misunderstand me.
So is that all you have to say?
What can I say? I mean, how'd it happen?
Think that if you were going through with it, that you would know what the repercussions were.
I just gotta go to a pub or something. This whole thing, you know, just came as a big surprise.
Yeah, no kidding. It's almost 2 in the morning. The pub is already closed.
I just need some fresh air. Please. Okay. Well, what about morons? How are they different from fools?
Morons never do the wrong thing. The reasoning, though, is always wrong. Like the guy who says that dogs bark, dogs are pets. Cats are pets, therefore cats bark.
That's some twisted logic.
No, it certainly is. But morons also occasionally happen to say something that is right, but it only happens by accident. And they always say it for the wrong reason. And that makes them the most complex of all the others. Morons are tricky. A lot of them even win the Nobel Prize. They're hard to identify.
Well, how would you say somebody is a moron, then?
Well, it's not so easy as I told you. You can spot a fool right away, not to mention a cretin. But when it comes to a moron, you see, the moron reasons exactly as you do. And lots of them even write books and have followers.
Well, can you think of an example of such a moron?
Philosophers are morons.
Oh, jeez.
For instance, St. Anselm's ontological argument is a typical moronic one. like Bucci, who saw God in a sum of zeros. Anselm said, God must exist because I can conceive him as being perfect in all ways, including existence. Poor moron is confusing existence in thought with existence in reality.
Yeah, right on. By that rationale, the atheist's refutation of God is moronic too. I can think of an island in the sea, even though the island does not exist. That's just confusing the thinking of the possible with the thinking of the necessary.
Exactly. I mean, this is the typical duel between morons. God chose to be unthinkable just to prove that these people are morons. I mean, all ideological clashes and wars are of a moronic, lunatic nature. When the morons run out of things to say, the fighting starts. I mean, war is simply the transition from moronism to lunacy. Look at what is happening in Yugoslavia.
Yeah.
You know? It made the rest of the world bomb them into restoring some sense into their lunatic heads. I mean, with that exception, we all live in a peaceful, moronic world.
Yeah.
And we love it, and uneventful as it is. It provides us for a long, worthless life. You know, like the guy who spends all his life on the golf course before dying of a heart attack.
That's a moron too.
Oh, could be anything. Even a cretin or a fool. Most likely a moron.
But if we're going to go to war with these lunatics over there in the Balkans, doesn't that make us lunatics too?
No. We are simply fighting to preserve and impose our moronic order. I'm not fighting with our hearts like the lunatics over there, but with our heads. The morons go to war with a clear reason. Lunatics, on the other hand, do not fight about anything that obviously makes sense to us.
Well, does it make sense to them?
Oh, everything makes sense to a lunatic. And those lunatics over there are strange, proud creatures with a very rich culture and painful history. What they are doing to each other, however, is wrong by all standards. In a peaceful world like ours, we crave for the wrong. We want to see it, touch it. But democratic societies skillfully conceal the wrong, so you have no obvious challenge to make for an inspirational action. It is what we are missing while we have most of other material goods. That is the only reason people here get involved into this war. Because we can sense something out there as coming out of our favorite popular culture. Violence, injustice, extreme opinions. Who would ever sit and watch a movie about regular people sitting around and contemplating the meaning of life in a place like this? Think about it.
Does this kind of life look interesting to you as a student, pretending to be an artist, pretending to be an actor, pretending to be a writer, pretending to be a photographer, pretending to be a classical musician, pretending to be a jazz musician, pretending to be a rock and roll guitar player, pretending to be a folk singer, pretending to be a fisherman, a farmer, a craftsperson, pretending to have a focus, pretending to have an agenda, pretending to be part of a family, pretending to be part of the future, pretending to be a part of your past, pretending to be a friend, pretending to be an associate, pretending to be a lover, pretending to be your mother, pretending to be clever, pretending to be cryptic, pretending to experience, pretending to have a passion, pretending to be hip, pretending to be hip-hop and you don't stop, pretending to be in on it, pretending to be out of it, pretending to get off on it, pretending to change the world, pretending to be a leader, pretending to be a robot, pretending to be a graffiti artist, pretending to be an authority on pop culture, pretending to be interested, pretending to be interesting, pretending to be eccentric, pretending to be a pyromaniac, pretending to be the police, pretending to be a politician, pretending to care, pretending you're only in it for the money, pretending to do it for the kids, pretending to be British, pretending to be racist, pretending to be asleep, pretending to be an alcoholic, pretending to be responsible, pretending to be motivated, pretending to be an audience, pretending to be a performer, pretending to be a prick, pretending to be a comedian, pretending to be a lesbian, pretending to get a haircut, pretending to grow a beard, pretending to be a stalker, pretending to be a teenager in love, pretending to be a star, pretending to be a breakdancer, pretending to be a butcher, baker, or candlestick maker, pretending to be satisfied, pretending you want more, pretending you don't need more, pretending to be annoying, pretending to be annoyed, pretending you understand other people better than they do, pretending to be pleasant, pretending to be your parents, pretending to be their parents, pretending to be Bill Kyle, Philip Banks, Wilma Kyle, Paul Singh, pretending to be George Schneer, pretending to be J.P. Zukowskis, pretending to be Walter Zukowskis, pretending to be Richard Clancy, Don Wilson, Fred Wilmshurst, Carmen Stone, St. Alan Abbott, and that other guy, Welch, pretending to be Plato, pretending to be Aristotle, pretending to be Frank Zappa, pretending to be Stravinsky, pretending to be Fred Sayou, Michael Edwards, Jacob Zimmer, Martha Mullally, Rosie Sharples, Lucas Danvers, Aaron Hansen, all of Aaron's brothers, David Chaplinsky, Abby Chaplinsky, Eric Bednarski, Garrett Langley, Megan McCullough, John Clater, Milosh Rodick, Rebecca Lupton, Eileen Mateer, Mike Walsh, Curtis Donahue, Jeff Bennett, Tom Henderson, Jen Troop, Julie Durant, Neil Ruff, Thaddeus Malonia, Rita McCoe, Peggy Frith, Temple Bates, Terry Pearson, Terry Gilliam, Carla Gillis, Lynette Gillis, Paul Gillianis, Helen Hill, Sylvan Daly, Andrew Dacey, Gordon Eisner, Chris York, Ryan Murphy, Brendan Murphy, Chris Murphy, Jesus Murphy, Buck 65, DJ Critical, Johnny Rockwell, Uncle Climax, Stinkin' Rich, Rose Royce, Robin Barnes, David Clark, David Middleton, Gary Kennedy, Mike Hickey, Amy Lockhart, Christina Felderhoff #1, Christina Felderhoff #2, Ben Skinner, Bonnie Summers, Joel Shane, Jess Rowland, Sandy Plotnikoff, Randy Plotnikoff, Stephen Kelly, Kate Nikolai, Malcolm Sutton, Miho Mackay, Rebecca Young, Michelle Irving, Kenny Lewis, Kathleen Tenrock, Jen Peacock, Walter Flower, Flower Punk, Daft Punk, Absolutely Nothing, Kraftwerk, Grandmaster Flash, The Furious Five, Soaking Up Jagged, Letitia Sajay, Jonathan Richmond, Rick Wakeman, Rick and the Skins, Money Mark, Mark Bell, Mark Peters, Peter Gabriel, Pete Fonda, Joni Mitchell, Mitchell Reed, Don Preston, William Reed, Matt Reed, Art Nazi, Performance Boy, Video Boy, and a cast of fucking thousands. Does this kind of life look interesting to you?
Inspirational action? You were saying that we need to be oppressed? Have some group of people convinced in the wisdom of killing you to make your life more interesting or exciting?
A lot of people from here are already doing that, from elementary school kids to more sophisticated mass murderers. Even the dog who is used to eating his food and sleeping all day at your feet sometimes gets up to bite the leg of your chair. When you're in the jungle to fight the great evil, your life has clear meaning and purpose. People here try to find meaning in nothing. What else can you do when the obvious path and purpose in life are getting a job and living like a suburban pig who spends his free time with pro wrestling, football, porno, and books about war.
I can't believe you're saying that prosperity and democracy turns people into pigs.
Most of them.
So we are all worthless creatures here in Canada because we have nothing to worry about in terms of everyday life and death matters?
Oh, we have lots to worry about. We worry because we have little to worry about. Then we worry some more. Other people worry too, and we better be worried about that because some of them might come one bright sunny day and put a bullet into your head and then theirs. And think about it. Where else would you have someone want to kill you because they are bored? I mean, these are minor things to worry about. And there's other things too, you know, like the guy over there. Who's worried that he's not going to make a big enough profit tonight.
Yeah, if that's not a matter of life and death.
Exactly. Oh, I wanted to get there. The matters of life and death really push us to the edge of our spiritual power, you know, outside the box, and make life worth living. You need to find something to do that you will do with all your heart. People that have little to worry about worry hard about little things, thus becoming doomed, depressed morons. Moronic depression is widespread here.
So we're surrounded by depressed morons?
Everyone is a moron, except you and me.
Well, I think that somehow Gödel had this in mind when he wrote the mathematical theorem of the impossibility. There are things that are impossible to prove.
I don't know about that. I'm a cretin.
You know, the more you think about this, the more you get lost.
You're not the first one, my friend. The whole history of logic consists of attempts to find an acceptable notion of moronism. Sometimes this process is called wisdom.
Profound. It's getting late, eh? I think this place is going to close soon. But listen, we still haven't talked about lunatics.
Oh, I was getting there. A lunatic can easily be derived from a moron. The lunatic is a moron who does not concern himself at all with logic. For him, everything proves everything else. The lunatic has a fixed idea, and whatever comes across confirms it. You can tell a lunatic by the liberties they take with our moronic common sense, by the flashes of inspiration. Artists are lunatics. Scientists, on the other hand, are morons.
So, if artists are lunatics, clinging to fixed ideas, and scientists are morons whose reasoning is always wrong, then no one can say that something is right. In short, everything you're saying is that everything is wrong.
Certainly. Every scientific theory that we believe in and call a law remains a law until someone disproves it, and then we call it a theory again. There are no laws, no truths in science, only assumptions. I'm also making an assumption in saying this. Think about it. Can you actually bring me an example of something that you know is true? I'm not talking about banal things like the sky is blue, and even that is not true.
Well, nothing comes to mind right now. I could say God exists.
A lunatic would proclaim something like, there is or is no God. And leave it at that. For a moron, such a question is unthinkable. And lunacy can take various forms, all extreme. Extreme approval, extreme denial, extreme love, extreme hate. There is no middle. Lunatics are the most amazing group of people. Morons have logic as the forefront of their actions. Lunatics have passion.
What do you mean by passion?
Passions are extreme, intense feelings of love or hate. It cannot be explained by the terms of this moronic logical conversation you and I are having now. You cannot analyze why you see a woman for the first time in the eyes and that sole look smittens you, defines the rest of your life by exploding a hidden passion that wipes out all moronic sense.
A poor, unfortunate, lovesick lunatic.
Oh, quite fortunate, on the contrary. That's the best thing that can happen to someone. A lot of people never find it at all in their lives. They helplessly look around, but Moronism has so much taken over that the gunpowder of their passion is completely damp. I know a lunatic can have intense, epic love affairs. A moron gets into a calculated relationship and dwells into that material, worthless existence for the rest of the time.
All right, everyone, time to pick up and clear up. Last call.
Oh, geez, that's the last call, I guess.
Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you, Bob.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get together some other time.
Yeah, for
Come on
sure.
over to my place for dinner. What's your phone number?
364-2620. Yeah. Call me about, 5 o'clock. I'll be off work. Then, and I'll be heading home in the next couple weeks, so we'll do it then.
Feels good to be finished?
Yeah, scared. I don't know, I got this diploma in my hand now. I don't know what I feel. I feel scared of this moronic world that you describe. Yeah. I feel nostalgic for the past, too. I don't know, maybe I'll go traveling a bit, then see.
A lot of people a lot of others in your position feel that way.
Yeah.
A university is an incubator, a safe haven from the tiny big matters of the real world. That's why you must enjoy your time here before going to become a depressed moron out there. Travel to find truth, meaning. Go someplace exotic like the Himalayas.
Oh boy.
You see, university just inflates your levels of moronism. And think about it. It makes you want to be a moron for the rest of your life, and inside your little moronic dream university world. You know how many professional students stay here after they graduate?
Oh yeah, tons. I don't know, what do you think?
Everyone gets out of here either a moron or a lunatic with that piece of diploma you mentioned. You're going to be a bachelor moron soon.
Jeez.
The heck, I don't even know how they'd write that down in Latin. If you're a talented moron, you'll even find a job. And there's lots of occupations around, that fit nicely into your moronic set of values.
Occupations.
Yeah. Salesman, for instance. As for myself, I don't know. Lunacy is more of a personal, inherited talent than something they inject into you in school. On the contrary, it's what they try to suck out of you in university, and to make you an employable moron. And after you've finished university, you're left like an orphan with that horrible bachelor paper in your hand to make a living and pay your debts.
You're so right.
At that point, you're considerably less creative than when you came in here as an innocent lunatic. Thus, the harder it is to do what you were expected. So you'll enslave yourself to some lousy job for the rest of your life, and And good luck.
Thanks. Well, do you think you're over this common destiny?
I like to think I've resisted the machine to become a hardened lunatic. I'm valuable to myself because society has not managed to change me, but I have the prospect of changing society. You know why? Because I've kept my ideas fresh in spite of all the various thought conditioning and mind-altering agents of higher education.
You know, the more I think about this, the more I think you're right.
Then think about it.
Well, it's been a pleasure, Doug.
Enjoyed very much talking to you too.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, everything that I told you, it's a pile of shit. Have a good night.